Ah, you've returned for part 3. At this point, I'm no longer surprised, just impressed by your tolerance for terrible lighting, questionable life choices, and cameras that appear to be powered by pure disappointment. Yes, Earthlings, today we plunge into the deepest, darkest, most unflattering corner of celebrity mugshot history. The images so rough they make the previous 2 parts look like professional headshots. These photos were clearly captured using equipment last serviced during the Bronze Age, operated by someone whose artistic vision can best be described as point vaguely at the face and hope for the best. And before your fragile legal system gets its paperwork in a twist, let me repeat the sacred disclaimer. No one here should be presumed guilty of anything. These are simply unfortunate snapshots taken at the time of arrest. A moment when absolutely no one looks glamorous. Not even you, Karen. So take a deep breath, brace your eyeballs, and prepare for the ultimate challenge. This is the final descent into mugshot madness for a while. And trust me, it's not pretty. Matthew McConaughey. At 2:30 a.m. on October 25, 1999, officers responded to a noise complaint at McConaughey's home and found an inebriated McConaughey playing the bongos naked. He struggled with the police when they tried to put him in their car, and he was arrested and charged with resisting transportation. Talk about a buzzkill. Naomi Campbell, after a heated altercation at the Heathrow airport, was gifted charges for disorderly conduct, 2 counts of assaulting a police officer, and others in May of 2008. Paris Hilton, in early 2007, charged with driving on a suspended license. Nick Carter, one of the Backstreet Boys. Carter was arrested in Huntington Beach, California in March 2005 and charged with drunk driving. Natasha Lyonne was being arrested for charges including careless driving, drunk driving, and in 2001, she was arrested in Miami for DUI and reckless driving after a car crash. Benedetto Mussolini, arrested on suspicion of being an anarchist at age 20 in Bern, Switzerland, June 19, 1903. Sid Vicious, arrested in New York for the murder of his girlfriend, Nancy Spungen, December 8, 1978. Shia LaBeouf. LaBeouf was arrested for public intoxication in Austin, Texas on October 9, 2015. Robert Downey Jr., while still on parole, was taken into custody on suspicion of being under the influence on April 24, 2001, and pleaded no contest to his initial arrest charges. Marilyn Manson. In July 2001, Manson, real name Brian Hugh Warner, was charged with criminal sexual conduct after grinding on the head of a security guard while only wearing a thong and pantyhose at a concert in Detroit. Suzanne Summers was arrested in March 1970 for passing about $100 in bad checks. Occurring when she was a struggling actress and model, she avoided jail time by paying back the money. James Cromwell. Cromwell was arrested and charged with disorderly conduct during a protest against animal research at the University of Wisconsin back in 2013. Jeffrey Dahmer, arrested in Milwaukee in connection with a string of brutal RPs, killings and dismemberments that ultimately left 17 dead. July 23, 1991. Christian Slater was arrested on December 23, 1994, at John F. Kennedy International Airport in New York for attempting to board a commercial plane with a loaded 9mm pistol in his luggage. Heather Locklear was arrested at her home on February 25, 2018, on a felony charge of domestic violence and 3 counts of misdemeanor battery on a peace officer. Bugsy Siegel, the infamous gangster, poses while being held in New York, February 12, 1928. Charges included murder, armed robbery, narcotics possession, and firearms possession. Prince and his keyboardist were arrested in 1980 for stealing a megaphone, considered emergency equipment, off of an airplane that was being stored in an overhead bin. Janis Joplin. In 1963, Janis Joplin was arrested for shoplifting in Berkeley, California. Naya Rivera. The Glee alumni was arrested for domestic battery in West Virginia on November 25, 2017. Edward Furlong. Multiple arrests on charges of domestic violence, battery, violating restraining orders, vandalism, and substance abuse throughout 2013. Yasmine Bleeth. After crashing her car, the Baywatch star was arrested for cocaine possession in Romulus, Michigan on September 12, 2001. Misha Barton. The OC actress was arrested December 27, 2007 and charged with driving under the influence of alcohol or drugs, driving while being over the legal blood alcohol level, driving without a valid license, and possession of marijuana. Macaulay Culkin was arrested on September 17, 2004 for possession of marijuana and 2 controlled substances without a prescription. Keanu Reeves was arrested for driving under the influence and reckless driving in Los Angeles, California in May 1993. Reeves allegedly admitted to DUI but was not charged. Martin Luther King Jr. was famously arrested in 1956 in Montgomery, Alabama, while participating in the Rosa Parks-inspired bus boycotts protesting bus segregation. Al Pacino. Alfred James Pacino was arrested in Woonsocket, Rhode Island in 1961 for possession of a concealed weapon. Mike Tyson. On December 29, 2006, Tyson was arrested on suspicion of driving under the influence and felony drug possession in Scottsdale, Arizona. Zsa Zsa Gabor was arrested for expired vehicle registration, evasion of a police officer, battery on a police officer, driving with an expired license, and an open alcohol charge. Andre 3000. In March 2009, real name Andre Benjamin, was arrested by Georgia police for driving 109 miles per hour on the freeway. He avoided jail time by paying a $1,200 fine. Axl Rose. Lafayette, Indiana police arrested an 18-year-old Axl Rose in July 1980 for an unspecified misdemeanor. Not long after, he left Indiana for Los Angeles. Charlie Sheen. On Christmas Day in 2009, Aspen, Colorado police arrested Sheen on a domestic violence charge. Steve McQueen was arrested in Anchorage, Alaska on June 22, 1972 for drunk driving and speeding. Al Capone, aka Scarface, was arrested here in 1930 on vagrancy charges in Miami. Capone was an American mobster, notorious during the Prohibition as boss of the Chicago outfit. Pablo Escobar. Escobar was arrested in May 1976 in Colombia by the Medellin Control Agency on charges of possession and trafficking of cocaine. This mugshot, often dated to 1976, was actually taken in 1977. James Brown. On December 15, 1988, Brown was charged with aggravated assault, weapons possession, and failure to stop for police, eventually serving 3 years in jail. Scottie Pippen was arrested April 22, 1999, charged with driving under the influence after failing a field sobriety test and refusing the breathalyzer. Andre the Giant. In August 1989, Andre the Giant was arrested in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, on charges of assault and criminal mischief. Vince Neil. In Las Vegas in June of 2010, charged with drunk driving. Chris Chelios. The NHL star was arrested in December 2009 in Westmont, Illinois, for driving under the influence. Dean Castronovo. The former Journey drummer was arrested on a number of charges related to domestic violence in June 2015. Charles Barkley was arrested in winter 1991 in Milwaukee on charges of disorderly conduct and misdemeanor battery after an altercation with 3 guys. Jane Fonda. In November 1970, Jane Fonda was arrested at a Cleveland airport and charged with drug smuggling and assaulting a police officer. The drugs turned out to be vitamins. Barry Bonds was charged with 5 counts of perjury and obstruction of justice, stemming from his 2003 testimony to a grand jury investigating the Balco scandal, December 2007. Ryan O'Neal was arrested in February 2007 by the Los Angeles County Sheriff and charged with assault with a deadly weapon and negligent discharge of a firearm after fighting with his son at his Malibu home. Dana Plato. In January 1992, after getting caught forging a Valium prescription. At the time of her arrest, Plato was serving a probation term, stemming from her guilty plea to charges that she robbed a Las Vegas video store in 1991. Leona Helmsley. Arrested on charges including conspiracy to defraud the United States, tax evasion, filing false tax returns, and mail fraud. April 1988. Richard Grieco was arrested and charged with public intoxication at the Dallas/Fort Worth International Airport in December 2019. Tracy Gold was arrested in September 2004 and faced felony charges for driving under the influence, DUI, causing bodily injury, and felony child endangerment. Dudley Moore was arrested in March 1994 on suspicion of domestic abuse/violence and cohabitational abuse. Charles Manson was convicted of 7 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of conspiracy to commit murder for the Tate and LaBianca killings. Congratulations, humans! You've officially endured all 3 parts of this mugshot nightmare. You've witnessed celebrities at their lowest, lit by light bulbs older than your entire justice system, and captured by cameras that should be in museums labeled early Earth relics. And as always, repeat after me. These images do not prove guilt. They only prove photography standards were appalling. If you made it this far with your sanity intact, give yourself a medal, or at least a snack. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join me again for whatever twisted trivia journey I dream up next. Until then, this is Melvin, logging off and cleansing his retinas. Still here? Impressive! You might just have enough brain cells left to handle another video. Click 1. Prove me wrong.